Welcome to the channel. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Central Coast, New South Wales at Gosford. Isn't it beautiful? Covert emotional incest, which is obviously something that God's called me to try and help people with, those in it and those on the end of it. It carries with it tremendous injury. Some injuries narcissistic, some, as Sam Vaknin would say, are self-efficacious, more to the self-esteem rather than narcissistic injury. A lot of the people that are in covert emotional incest are prophesying in their forethought of failing. They'll go in as long as they can in their behaviour, even though they're pushing the limits, until they fail. They don't seem to be able to bring about correction or want to bring about correction, which is quite strange really, because if you want to get somewhere in life, you'll stop and bring correction to yourself so that you can avoid continual failing. But covert emotional incest is so deep and so ingrained because it's built on a maternal bond, an extra maternal bond, that it will fight for itself without the people even knowing. You can suggest to these people that I think there's something I'm a little bit uncomfortable with in this relationship that's not working in the best or beneficial way for us, and they'll listen and go along with it all and try and escape the overt evidence of the covert emotional incest, but somehow there seems to be a blindsidedness that covert emotional incest causes within these people. It's a severe overt blindness, because so often you'll see these people slip out of covert emotional incest into a overt emotional incest aspect of this, which can manifest itself in so many different ways. And it's very embarrassing. It's very embarrassing when you're in the presence of these people and they go overt. That means they're doing it in front of you, or one is doing it in front of you. And for some strange reason, if you bring it to their attention, they will suffer either a self-efficacy injury, or if they're a narcissistic injury. And the narcissistic injury is probably the more potent, but the self-efficacy one's pretty bad as well, because once they're aware that you're aware that they're a mummy's boy or a golden child, or the parents in particular who get exposed for having an over-attachment to their children, they don't respond real well. They seem to automatically want to go into this person has to go mode, and then start strategies to undermine the adult-child's relationship, be it father to daughter or mother to son, particularly mother to son. A lot of these don't seem to be able to recognize how serious it really is, and boy oh boy, it can get really ugly. So the hard part about covert emotional incest and recognizing it is it's actually quite in your face if you're inside the circle. If you've been accepted as a value partner, they've gone exclusive for you, they've probably still got orbiters floating around, again because there is a self-prophetic message in the back of their mind that the relationship will probably fail. And so these people, particularly if they've got narcissistic tendencies or traits, or micro-incremental dark triad characteristic traits working through them, through their sinful carnal nature, they're usually going to have some orbiters floating around on the outside that will jump in and begin to compensate for where they're being challenged in the relationship, because covert emotional incest will allow you to confront it initially, but then ultimately it will turn on you because it's a form of unresolved. And if you're in a relationship with one of these people and you're saying, hang on a minute, I think you're a little bit too close to Cyril or Betty, and if you're the daughter's partner, and you go, I think you're a little bit close to Alfred, the dad, or if you're the son's girlfriend and you go, I think you're a little bit close to Mavis, this is going to at first be okay, but it's going to spark alarm, and it's going to spark a situation where you are going to go into a radar bank. You're now on the radar as knowing what's going on with the covert emotional incest part of this. And that's probably not going to work out too well for you, because you will be alienated. Now, if they can't alienate you from the relationship, they'll alienate you from family functions, from if they live together. And this is the case a lot of the time, because a lot of this is coming out of single parent situations. And just let me backtrack. Covert emotional incest is a result of parental breakdown, where one or the other or both surrogate their children, into playing a partner role where they're invited into adult information and adult knowledge and adult feelings where they ought not to have been allowed. These people won't go for therapy, they won't get counselling. They use their children as an illegitimate means of therapy, but it doesn't work because it's abuse. It's absolute psychological abuse. But it's something, because it's a form of abuse and it's toxic, there is an element of our sinful human nature that's attracted to that. So then the abuse is actually working through an emotional lust that's taking place through the illegitimate exchanges, emotional covert incestual exchanges, taking place between the parent and the parentified child or adult child. Now, if you become aware of it, it's going to be pretty serious, particularly if they know that you're aware that something's not quite right, because then when you're not there, one or the other will start to work against you and build a collusion, again, a evil micro-incremental dark triad sabotaging collusion against who you are. And what I mean by this is, say you're the partner of the daughter, you're the boyfriend of the daughter, and the father's been caught being a little bit close to the daughter, not sexually but emotionally, and he's aware that you're aware. He'll subtly begin to undermine who you are, and he won't be happy until that takes in your partner's mind. And what you're going to find is your partner will start to jutter like a train taking off from a standstill where all the carriages go kunk, 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 kunk. I would say most of you would have heard that noise. They'll begin to shudder in their psyche, shudder and stagger, because the influence of the father over the daughter is probably one of the most powerful influences in humankind, and they know how to rattle the belief and faith in the daughter, and be it the mother with the son, in a way in which it will attack their partner. And so what happens then is you get this frozenness, possibly distance. It'll work out in distance. The communication will begin to drop, because the person will become confused. No matter how hard they try, they're going to become confused. A lot of these people are medicated. They're alcoholics. They're on weed, a lot of them, and some of them are all of them put together. I can remember my serial narcissistic ex-wife. I never known her to smoke weed or anything like that, but when she went narc and began to, through covert emotional incest with a son, who completely together, they sabotaged the marriage in 10 weeks. I had to ask them to leave. Please leave, I'm not tolerating this rubbish and garbage. And my family watched it. It was disgraceful. She was on weed. She was smoking weed, and she'd met some other bloke. This is before the marriage was even over. Absolutely disgraceful, shocking, paradoxical, evil behaviour. Lucky I'm strong and understand how people can, turn on you and break down and try and ruin your life and ruin who you are. It didn't shake me one bit. I just kept doing what I was doing and watched this person destroy herself. She had some terrible mental illnesses after that, and physical illnesses as well, because you can't take a good relationship and marry it, particularly a marriage. Like, goodness me. She used to say it was the best day of her life. I'm thinking, well, if it was the best day of your life, what the hell is going on here? This is the delusion of the covert narcissist. But from what I saw, as covert as she was malignant. It was just savagery. But when it come to the son, there was this melting, there was this bond, there was this co-union that would make anybody cringe. It's like Freddy Krueger. Who's that guy off Nightmare on Elm Street? Freddy Krueger cuddling up to one of the schoolgirls, or this kind of thing that he was, putting into nightmares and stuff. It's the stuff that's made up of nightmares, I'm telling you. And so I've run out of time, but the point of this video is, once you've exposed covert emotional incest, again, if you're the girlfriend or boyfriend of the adult child, or the partner of the adult parent, let's take for instance my situation where I was the partner of the mother, the narcissistic son, who to me was trying to be covert, but went absolutely overt. They won't be able to help themselves. They'll want to try and get you out of their lives. They'll wear away at your partner in the background. They'll attack you, assassinate you, and when few push back, which I do, I'll push back. I don't care anymore. I'll just push back. In terms of, I'll keep doing these videos on covert emotional incest, because I've had absolutely had enough of it. I have had enough of it, and I know it's rampant, and I know it's the parents that are causing it. You may as well kiss your relationship goodbye, because the person that you're with, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to dissolve, because unresolved always ends in the end of the relationship. I can keep going, I can keep being intimate and keep performing and all this sort of stuff, but I can't stand people that don't resolve things, and people that blame me for things that I haven't caused. And neither should you. If you're aware that you're in a relationship and there's covert emotional incest involved in it, and your mental health's not going too good, and your physical health is going downhill, and your mind to body coordination and your thinking starting to disintegrate, Doesn't matter what relationship it is. My advice is get out. If the person's not going to fix a problem that's making you sad and that's harming you, that's not what a relationship's about. A lot of these people don't care. If you don't believe me, split up with them and see if they put up a fight. They'll just disappear. They don't care. That's why there's a problem there. They don't care. If they cared about the relationship, they'd fix the problem. But unfortunately, when it comes to extramaternal covert emotional incest, parentification, enmeshment, no matter how hard they try, they're just not going to be able to find their way out to the other side. And it's ugly and it's fierce. It will not relent. It will take out everything in its path, and most of all the two people in it. If it's an adult child, they remain infantile and their partner works it out. If it's the parent, you just see the ugly side of it and you don't want to be engaged with that person. Think very carefully about what you're dealing with, what it's doing to you, how it's affecting you. Because I tell you what, once you're out of it, gee, even the sky's bluer, the water's clearer, your mind's clearer, you get strength back in your body. You just have to go, those people didn't wanna, they just weren't gonna take the benefits of who you are. Don't blame yourself for it. If you're a genuine person who's trying the best that you can, you're not on drugs, alcohol and all this other shit and crap that ruins not only the people taking it, but those around them. Walk out of there with your head high and your chest out. Don't worry about the smear campaigns and the news supply, whoever they end up with. No, don't worry about that. Focus on yourself, heal, recover, and then you'll see the right person will come along. These people had every opportunity to have a great relationship. All the ingredients was there, but they just couldn't get past the unresolved. That's not your fault. That's up to them. And if they want to go on through life through that, and they're happy with that, then they're happy with where they are. I certainly don't recommend that. And no, past behaviour predicts future behaviour. Just be careful. Love as best as you can, but if you're starting to feel ill, sick, unwell, you got mind problems and stuff, believe me, covert emotional incest is an assassin of health, relationships and potential. Covert emotional incest, it is absolutely out there to kill, steal and destroy. Don't give way to it. Don't buy into it. Get out of the way of it and let them people sink themselves to the bottom. When you leave, you've done them a favour. It's up to them if they want to accept that there's got to be a better way of going about things. A lot of these people don't realise that you can have good, healthy, close relationships with your children without wrecking your relationship. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.